All right. Yeah,
We're
we're live.
live. Hmm.
All right. Can you read everything, or is it too slow?
That's
For me, it's
perfect.
okay.
Okay. So we're gonna discuss application controller pattern. Um, for what I could understand from the stuff that I read online is that the application controller has, I guess, some similarities with the model view controller in the fact that the application controller helps to delegate the use of views or calling other classes. So instead of having everything to be running on one class to whether display an input or to get information from another class, the application controller handles the request and then determines which view to be displayed um, to the user. Um, on my on my code, I've been writing this switch from the main class to kind of use or prompt the user to display a topic. I
Oh,
will run
okay.
this just so you can get an idea. So this is what I get when I run my whole CIT 360 project. I get a prompt to select any of the topics. So if I select the ones we did already, the collections, if I press one and then enter, I get display all the collections, right? All right, so if I go back and try to use the application controller, I select number 3 and get that. I get prompt to enter a name, so I'll do mine and enter my phone number. So we'll do 333-999-222-888 or something like that. I don't know, that's not my number. That would be weird,
Right.
right? So it ends there because I haven't finished developing that controller. But in a sense, what it's doing is when I select number 3, it's over here in my case, and I run the application controller. This is an object, creating a new object from the application controller class, and then I did it as a thread. So I did extended this class as a thread, implementing something that we learned from last week, and then doing the run method. From here, I get prompt for the input. Don't mix it. All right. I think I destroyed this part. Good.
Maybe an undo.
Undo. Yep. There you go. And so from here, the idea is that these two variables are going to be passed down into the application controller, which will create a hash map. This is something that was part of the requirements from the video that says that the application controller must use a hash map. So this hash map is going to take 2 strings. So although the phone number could be taken as an integer, I decided to go as a string in case somebody puts a comma or a dash or something. And so it will always be treated as a string.
Okay.
And then once this map is created, which will have, let me bring this code that I borrowed from somewhere online. What it was going to do is it's going to create a hash map like we did here, like it does here. And then the 2 strings coming from the other class, or from here actually, will go into the application controller, and they will be passed as parameters like it does over here. So in this case right here, so they pass they're passed as a parameter into a method. Because remember, we can write any method we want. You can name it set command or run or star or whatever. And then it will accept the two methods. From here, it will, it can also be passed down into either displaying what you enter or just, in this case, it's putting, like it says put, but it's writing it down into the map, into the hash map, into the array. And if I wanted to display it, you use the get method, like it does over here. So from here, I can just write on this whole class, just write two methods that put or write down the two values from here into the hash map, and then I can have it, save them, and then if I later on want to say want to prompt the user for, do you want to look for a contact on the book, and just have a prompt where he can enter a name, and with the hash map, what it was going to do is going to invoke or call another class that is going to use the get method, and then display the user's or the user, or the contact information, like the phone number and all that. So that's where I'm heading with this right now. I think with this example here, you can tell kind of what it means by application controller. So in this code, can you see it? Or is it too little? Let me see if I can make it bigger. So if I select all, and then I go, let's see, where is the font size? Okay, here. Hey. All right, 24, what it to be? All right, maybe too big, right? 18, is that good?
Yep, looks pretty good.
All right, so this whole code starts here. It creates a new instance of the menu class over here. And then it uses the two methods on the class, which is this one right here, the set command, and the run command, right? So it passes two variables. One is declared here. This one is this value is declared here, and the other one is a makeup is made of the other class. Hold on, let me take this one. Hello, I'm in a meeting. All right, sorry. And then so this one is created here. This one is created with another class. So the create command is over here. So it invokes this class, and then it executes this code, the creating file. So this is the second value actually passed down here. So think about this as just as a string from this part. So with that, over here and over here, it sets the command as a put. So it writes down the two parameters into the class, and then later on, it's read it from the hash map with the get method. So really, what the control pattern is doing is right here. This is the whole purpose of this class, that it creates the hash map into this variable name, and then it sends the same parameters into whatever it needs to go. And what it does is, instead of you writing down a lot, like different, let's say if you use a case, it would be very long. If let's say if you want to input 50 50 contacts, you would have to write down, either a lot of cases or a lot of threads, like I do here, like thread 1, thread 2, thread 3 to 4. But with this, you can just call this controller and have it write down on the hash map. The hash map can take, hundreds and hundreds of values, and all you have to do is just call in this controller, and the control will then write it down to the other classes. So I think that's a very handy tool to understand and to master for this class. In that part, there you go. So that's my understanding of application controllers. Any questions?
Going back to the online example,
Yeah.
I see you had the hash map, and in between the arrows, whatever, it's string and string. And I see in here there's a method that is in one of those spots, in the key and value spot. Not key and value spot. In between where the string's supposed to be.
Over here or up above here?
Yes. By the create and new create command, new delete command. So how do you put that in? Because the one is a string. Do you say method in the other one?
What was your question again?
In the hash map, in between the little arrows or something, it says string and comma string in your program.
Oh, over here. Sorry.
Yes. So how would that work with a method?
There's two ways of creating a hash map. You can do it this way, where you declare what the hash map is going to take. So you can do integer, string or integer instead of because hash maps can take different values or different types of values. It can be a string or integer or boolean or whatever, and then you give the hash map a variable name, right? Or as this person did it on this code, so you can see the difference between these two. This hash map, you can declare it as well as this, where you just say it's going to be a map with the hash map interface.
Oh,
so basically, there's two ways of doing the hash maps.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
That's it for me.
That's it for me. Yeah.
Okay. I'll take this away from here, and I will pass the time to you guys.
Isaac, do you have something to share for us?
Yeah, I'm still a little behind, but I still would like to share what I have so far. Let me just go ahead and share my screen with 1 second. Can you see the screen?
I see dark. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Okay, I'm still working with collections, and so far what I have is that I have created I have worked on collections as a list, as a set, and map, and I'm about to start with collections with queue. So I have explained right here like what is like the difference. So like I have added like a title for each type of collection, and so like you said, I mean, for the list, can store elements by insertion order and also to a specific place in the list because it keeps indices of its elements. So it's easier, like if you want to put something in a specific place, to do it like just by specifying like on which index you want to add the new item. And you can have like the same thing like more than once, And so what I did here is that I am creating the array, and then I'm inserting like a new item in the index number 1, or in the position number 1. So I added the 4, which is right here. And I have also like do a couple of things like um, just list a specific item from a specific index. So in this case, I am using the get um, like command, or how do you, I mean, in Java, how is this like specified? Is this like a command, like a keyword? How do you guys
The get,
know, like, yeah, like
well,
instruction?
That's a
you call
method.
it the method, yes.
It's a method, okay. So the get method, the number 3, so it's bringing like the 3, well, I mean, whatever is on the index number 3. And so that's what I have, I mean, for this one. And for the set, well, we know that it does not allow duplicates, and they're not stored in order. So it's not, I mean, it is not possible to iterate between its elements. And this type of collection is used when we want to ensure that only unique elements are part of the collection. So in this case, we cannot like have duplicates. So what I did first is that I created just like an array with duplicate numbers, and then I applied like the what is it? Well, the hash set to this list of numbers. So what it brought me, or what it's showing now on the screen, is just the single numbers. I mean, it is removing whatever it is duplicate. And then I try to insert 2 new numbers, like 5 and 158. And if it's not being duplicate, yeah, it's going to add it to the array. So in this case, 5, it's not like added twice. It just remains with the single 5 that already existed, and it's adding like the 158. I was just messing around a little bit. I used like a while loop to iterate through the array, and so pretty much the same number is being displayed here, just using a while. And for the last part, what I did is, that we can also like look for an element. And so I use the contains method, in this case 158, and in case that it finds the number, it will display a message saying that I found 158 inside the array. For the map, what it was nice to see how it works is that um, it does not allow duplicates, and the elements are not stored in order also. And I think I know this is, I have to remove this. I think I have duplicated this. Yeah. For this, the map is used to match the values with other, and it was nice to see that you can use it like maybe as a, like for a, like a directory to match like an employee ID with a name, or you can match like I don't know, like something like maybe like a country with a specific city, or in this case like an age, like people's age with a name, and things like that. So I've seen that it's really useful to do it like that. I prepare a couple of exercises, like, so as you were showing like a few minutes back, we have to input like the two types of values, like if it's going to be an integer or a string, to be able to create the collection. So that's where I'm at so far. I hope I will be able to finish this like within today, like at least everything for collections, and then move on to one of the other topics. So that's for my side. Let me just go back to
Excellent. That was
the
good.
Hangout. So,
Cool. Thank you.
Very,
yeah.
you can tell that you have experience writing. You write it very clean. The code.
You think so?
Yeah, like everything is like line up and all that, like perfect.
Yeah, I guess I mean I just hope that as soon as I submit this, it will go through. So I still have to work on I guess on hibernation and on where you at right now. Like there was another one that you guys presented, right? It was, have you presented hibernation or not? Not yet.
No,
That's next week.
we talk about
Sorry, not next week.
pets and the runables.
Runables, yeah, runables, and the one for this week. So I hope I will be able to catch up for the next meeting. So that's what I have.
No, you do good. You will do good. I submit mine that what is it last week, and I got feedback from Brother Lawrence. So I think you will do great.
Thanks. So your
Um,
turn, Mikael.
let me share. Can you see my screen?
Nice background.
Yes.
Cool. So I created one, two, three. What's that? 7 classes, so that I can show how dot is kind of spread out through the class and how it moves between the classes. So I created a main for the app controller. So it has the main method. It has input. So so I didn't know that there's a hash map that is needed for this. So I need to go tweak that now. So pretty much this program is almost a review program where you enter either one of the shows, Suits, The Walking Dead, Lost, or NCIS, and their reviews will be presented. So yeah, ask the user to input one of these options, and then it goes to the app controller class, which has I had this one with a dispatcher, which is pretty cool how that works. But I created the dispatcher variable over here. So the app controller kind of glues everything together. It works through the whole program, and it kind of takes the data from here and the dispatcher and kind of pushes it out of here. So then I connected the dispatcher variable to the dispatcher class over here. There's an authenticated user class. It's not really needed for this, but it's cool to know that you can create almost a login for the various views of the people that come and want to see the reviews. So if it's maybe someone who handles the site, it would have a different view to someone who just visits the site for the first time. So here's a track request method that tracks the request that the review that the user wanted. I need these these things just for me to kind of keep on track with what I'm doing. There's a dispatch request method that takes the request itself as a parameter that goes to the track request and gives out the review requested out to the console. This is not really needed, but I use the if statement for if it's an authenticated user, but because it returns true, it goes to the dispatcher, the dispatch method in the dispatcher class. So yeah, I created the variables and created them in their respective classes, and yeah, I connected them within the dispatcher method. I think that's sorry, class. In the dispatch method and in the certain request. So say for instance, someone puts in Suits. if the request is exactly suits, or the equals ignore case means it can be lowercase or uppercase, I would go to the suits show method. So if I go to the suits show method, that kind of just gives you the review overview of the review, the synopsis, the ratings, the reviews. So since we have the hash map coming in, I was thinking of connecting these variables to each of these methods, and hopefully it will give the same result. But I can give you a rundown of how it works. Okay. Oops. Okay, so this is please enter Suits The Walking Dead last or NCIS for the reviews, and say let's go for Suits. And so it says the review requested was Suits. The user was authenticated, which isn't really needed, but it can be that extra feature. It gives you the overview of what the show is all about, and it gives you the ratings and the critics review of the show. And this can be done for all the different shows. So for instance, Lost, I can type it in anyway, capitals, lowercase, and it will give, oh, sorry. it will still give the same review of that show. So yeah, I think I'll connect it with the hash map later on, so that it at least fulfills the requirement that is needed.
Yeah, I think if you add on the, oh, I can't see now. I need to mute myself. Yeah, if you add on that dispatcher where you actually have the variables for the show's names.
Yes.
If you I can't see everything. If you run, let me see, where is it? So yeah, so you put those, and you can actually on the hash map, you can just call the wherever you have the review, all the string.
Yes.
You can just call it as a method for each one.
Mhm.
There was a video that I saw that they did something similar that we are doing. Let me see what it's called. And they write, yeah, just like the one that I show you on my code, on the code that I was borrowing from, is that you can, if you create separate methods for the reviews, then you don't have to. You can just spread them up here on your dispatcher, which is your application controller, and that way you can probably eliminate the if statement, the if else.
Yes. Yes. Cool. Thank you.
So for this topic specifically, like, is there a specific number of I don't know, classes that we have to create to show that
No.
it's actually working or something, or it is up to us?
There was one specific thing that brother Tucker, who made the video for the class, says that we need to implement. And he says that we need to make sure that we use a hash map on this topic for the application controller. I think that's what makes it different from like the model view controller, because the model view controller is just like 3 different classes doing something different each, but the application controller uses specifically the hash map to call a display, or to send and manipulate the data that you're working with.
Okay.
So if you go back to, where is it? So in week 5, is it on on the module it says study sources for learning skills, I think. So if you go to the application controller, the link is let me see if that's the one. Yes. So if I share this with you over quick, you can see it.
The application controller pattern is the next topic that I want to talk about. So it's fairly commonly used, especially with larger applications, where you have to manage a bunch of different views. So that's fairly common in larger applications. The real benefit of this technology is that it allows you to reuse, to create more extensibility within your application.
So yeah, on the bottom here,
So those are really
on the bottom it says, you will notice that the application controller has a hash map that is used as a handler. So this is like this exact, this is it. If you use a hash map, you will basically be passing the to basic, understand of this.
Okay.
Oh, and let me stop recording so we didn't record anything else. Ed, do you have any questions for Miko on her code?
No.
Okay, let me stop this and then we'll keep talking about this.